What's going on YouTube? So when it comes to luxury crossovers, Mercedes was one of the very first brands to jump in with their ML. It has long since been renamed, but the popularity of the now GLE has continued, and we're standing next to the latest 2023 example. So with a new Lexus RX on the block and stiff competition from the X5 and others, is the GLE a luxury crossover you should buy? Let's go ahead and find out. So let's get started here with the exterior design. Now this has always been a very handsome looking crossover in this current generation, and that does continue for 2023. Now in typical Mercedes fashion, you've got a lot of different choices in terms of how you want the front end design. So you do have a standard version that's going to come with two big bars through the middle. However, we've got the AMG line model. That's going to reduce that to one bar, a humongous Mercedes emblem, which takes up all of this center area, and then you've got this kind of diamond pattern, which looks really nice coming out from the center. And if you choose the 53 AMG, you would get a very grille that looks exactly like the other AMG models in the lineup as well, and the lower fascia is a little bit more aggressive. Let's go ahead and take a look at our headlights. So you do have a standard LED headlight, of course. You do have available adaptive LED headlights, and as you can see, very premium and upscale design. Like you would expect, you got the crystal-shaped headlights themselves, and then you've got your dual daytime running light and LED turn signal indicators. There's no fog lamps on the GLE. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about our wheel options. Just like with the front-end design, you've got a lot of different choices to match whatever your taste is. You're going to start out with 19-inch alloy wheels. However, you've got a large variety of choices ranging all the way up to 22-inch alloys. You can't get 23-inch option like you can on the GLS, but that being said, the 22s look plenty big on this model. We have 21s, as a matter of fact, and I really like this design. It definitely is AMG inspired. As we rise up here to our mirrors, they're going to be fully loaded as you'd expect, so they will have standard power folding, blind spot monitoring, heating, and auto dimming.
Now at the side of the GLE, there's not going to be a ton to talk about, but we're looking at an overall length of 194.3 inches, a good size for the segment. I do want to point out a few of the design elements though. For one, we do have the running boards integrated onto this model. I think it's more of a styling element than actually helping you get inside the cabin. And then we do have a lot of the chrome trim going on this particular model. The AMG line is going to make sure that your wheel arches are body color, so if you're one of those people that don't like the rugged matte black plastic, go for the AMG line. That will body color everything out. Now, as far as the rear design for the GLE is concerned, we're going to have a classy look. It's one of my favorite in the segment just because it looks so classy, so elegant, which is really what a luxury car is supposed to do. Now, as far as some of the design touches, our rear wiper is integrated right here. It is going to be exposed. Then we have this nice piece of chrome intersecting between the taillights. These are your typical Mercedes-Benz taillights, full LED, nice design. Actually, the accenting as well as the LED lights themselves blink with the turn signal as well. Then if we drop down below that to the lower diffuser, since we do have that AMG line model, it's going to be slightly more aggressive. We're going to have nice integrated chrome exhaust outlets. And then you're going to notice that tow hitch right there. This particular model does have that towing package, which gives you a 7,700 pound tow rating. Now for your safety systems, let's go ahead and talk about that. Mercedes is including 2 out of 4 of them as standard equipment. That's going to be auto high beams as well as forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection. If you want those more advanced systems, Mercedes will happily sell you a driver's assistance package, which does include your remaining systems of lane keeping assist, as well as adaptive cruise control and a traffic jam assistant. And that's going to be optional on every single GLE model. Now, as far as your warranty information is concerned, we do have Mercedes Signature Warranty, which is 4-year, 50,000 miles for your basic and powertrain. But guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the very luxurious interior that this GLE has to offer.
So approaching the GLE, of course you will find a standard smart entry system. This is the typical Mercedes key fob with the real metal trim around the outside edges, and you do have remote start via the Mercedes Me application. Of course, to get inside, just grab behind the handle. The mirrors will electrically fold out. And take a look at that beautiful cabin before we go ahead and climb inside and take a look at all the details inside of the cabin. Now, I will mention before I get inside, we do have the optional running boards. These are more of a styling thing because the crossover itself is pretty low to the ground, and as you can see, the running board is not really designed to fit your foot very well. So like I'm saying, it is just a design thing for the most part. Now, to start off this interior tour, let's go ahead and talk about your interior material and color options. So, you do start off with MB-Tech's synthetic leather. That is what we have on today's example. You've got the color choices of black, macchiato beige, espresso, or a special black with suede inserts for the AMG line model. This is the macchiato beige, and this is a very nice seat. The synthetic leather feels very realistic. I like the color contrast stitching details as well as the perforation down through there. Now, as far as your other options, though, you can, of course, get real leather. That's available. You can also get Napa leather, which is a very high-end leather, and that's going to be available in some special color options that are not available on the standard model. Now, turning over to the seats themselves, of course, the controls are mostly going to be up here because it is a Mercedes model after all. We have 16 ways of power adjustment, including a power thigh extension, power adjusting headrest, the whole shebang. Of course, you have 3-person memory seating as well. 3-stage seat heating is going to be standard equipment. 3-stage ventilated seats are going to be optional, and you do also have the availability of massaging. Now let's take a look around at the overall material quality. Starting with the door trim, we do have leather that runs all through here. It's going to go into the middle section as well. It's going to be soft touch along the top, and we have the available dark walnut wood trim throughout the cabin, which looks absolutely beautiful. Got the nice metal speaker grill. Along the top, it is going to be a soft touch plastic with a nice graining to it. You do also have the availability to get a full leather dashboard as well. And then down below, more of this genuine open pore walnut wood. Got the real metal vents. And then you've got those signature handlebars also covered in the leather all through here. And this center part is going to be covered in wood. Overall, very nicely executed cabin. Now to start it up, of course, put your foot on the brake and press the standard button. Even starting it up on a cold morning, you cannot even hear or feel the startup at all. Let's go ahead and talk about the gauge cluster. As you can see, this is a digital gauge cluster. This is the 12.3-inch display, which is part of this dual screen setup like you've seen on many Mercedes products. It's very customizable. You can press this button and go through a lot of different settings and a lot of different designs to tailor it to whatever your tastes are. You also have an available head-up display. The windshield wipers are going to be rain sensing, and pulling back to the steering wheel, we do have the latest Mercedes design. It is going to be different if you choose the AMG line model or one of the AMGs. That's going to get you a different design versus this one, but regardless, it will be power adjusting. You do also have the standalone option of heating located right there. When you choose the steering wheel heating, that's also going to get you the heated armrest as well. And speaking of armrest and our center console area, let's pop those open and see what's inside in terms of storage. We're looking at a really nice sized center console. Goes down plenty deep. It is felt lined. There's also a USB-C inside. And even though this is a high-end Mercedes product, that does not make it exempt from the coupon test. We got to test it out. Looks like those are going to fit in there. No problem whatsoever. It does have a voice assistant, by the way, which will respond when you say the word Mercedes. Anyways, moving on, we got a little storage area right there for your key fob. And underneath this beautiful piece of wood is where you'll find your 2 cup holders. These can also be heated and cooled. And you also have your wireless phone charging pad and 2 more USB-C ports. Of course, in typical Mercedes fashion, the console is kept pretty clean because the shifter is a column-mounted shifter up here. Just going to press down for drive. You do have paddle shifters located behind the steering wheel, and then press up for reverse. When you go into reverse, this is your 360-degree camera system. This is available in the premium package, which most of the GLEs will come equipped with. As you can see, resolution is very nice. You've got a lot of different angles you can choose from over there on the side. However, I will say it doesn't have the 3D view like some of its German competitors are offering. Now, as I pull down to the lower part, you'll notice the big pad. This controls the infotainment system, or you can also touch it. You got your drive modes over here, various settings along the side, and you'll also find your volume knob for your audio systems. So you've got several to choose from. The premium package is going to give you the 590-watt 13-speaker Burmester surround sound system. That's what we have today, and we'll go ahead and give it a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality of the system is top-notch. I love how detailed these speaker grills are as well. And furthermore, you can also upgrade to a 1590-watt 25-speaker Burmester 3D sound system if that's still not enough for you for whatever reason. Now moving up the dashboard, we come to our climate controls. This is a dual-zone automatic climate control setup. You do also have an available 4-zone automatic climate setup. But regardless, very simple physical controls, which is refreshing these days. Nice metal toggles as well, so you can change the temperatures and the zones. And when you make those updates, it will appear up there in the display as well. And before I get to the display, I do want to talk about the ambient lighting. Of course, Mercedes is one of the very best when it comes to ambient lighting, and I really appreciate that you can see all the advanced ambient lighting even during broad daylight. Now, let's talk about the infotainment system. So this is also 12.3 inches, like I was mentioning earlier. It is the BMW X system. It's not the very latest version of the software, though. I do want to point that out. The main difference between the very latest version and this version is the wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. So Mercedes hasn't quite added that yet, and they do have that on some of their newer models. But as far as the rest of the system, it is loaded with a ton of advanced features. I'll click into the built-in navigation system. That's what this is going to look like. You do also have augmented reality navigation, where it will use the camera system to project your turn-by-turn instructions right there on the display itself. Now, moving on from that, we do have an auto-dimming mirror. 3 HomeLink universal remotes are built into the bottom of it. And then up here at the very top, we do have a panoramic sunroof. Mercedes is going to include a standard size sunroof as standard equipment on this model, and then if you want to upgrade to the panoramic sunroof, that's going to be about $1,000.
Well, guys, when you're sitting in the GLE's rear seat, you're going to feel very special because this vehicle certainly has a very luxurious rear area. It's pretty much the same as what you're going to get in the bigger brother Mercedes-Benz GLS, which is certainly a very nice place to spend time. But let's go ahead and talk about the space figures first, and then we'll hop into some of the luxury features Mercedes is throwing in. We're looking at 40.9 inches of legroom, 39.6 inches of headroom, which does make this one of the largest offerings in the entire segment. It might be the largest offering. As you can see, this seat is scooted all the way back, and this seat is adjusted to Drew's position. I'm 5'9" for reference. There is so much space, so you're certainly going to be super comfortable in terms of the space. Now, also, what you're going to notice is I want to talk about the power seats. The power seats are a class-exclusive feature for this GLE, and they are going to be included if you go for the third row. So I can power adjust my second row here, so that's super rare to see in this segment of vehicle. I can even adjust my headrest. Pretty much every adjustment that you saw in the GLS review is going to be here in the GLE as well. So that's certainly nice. Now, as far as some of the features, we do have rear vents. That's going to be standard equipment on every GLE, as you would expect. You drop down below that. This particular model does not have the 4-zone climate control. You can get it, and you would have controls back here for that. And then we do also have a USB Type-C port right there, and a household style outlet down below that. Our center armrest can fold down. We have 2 pop-out cup holders inside. We can pop this open. We have a storage area that's nicely felt lined. Then let's turn to the door trim, guys. The door trim is going to be very nicely finished. So first of all, I want to talk about the rear window sunshades that this particular model has. You can control that with the window switch itself. It is going to be a power sunshade. Dropping below that, we have a very nicely finished door trim, nicely softly padded. We have leather going through most of it, wood trim, your seat controls, and we do also have optional heated rear seats on this particular model. And then in the very bottom, we have door storage as well. But guys, if you were paying attention to what I said in the second row, you'll know that I said it comes with the third row. And that's a very unique feature about this GLE, is that you can actually get it with a third row. So you don't have to step up to that big boy GLS model if you just occasionally use the third row. So this particular tester does actually have it. So you just locate this little switch right here. When you do that, it's just a simple one-press system. As you can see, the seat is power, so it's going to power, slide, and fold up and out of the way the second row area for you to get into the third row itself. Let's go ahead and hop back there. Okay, so hopping back here, if I can get the headrest, it's a little bit of a battle there, but hopping back into the third row. Now, of course, this is a mid-size luxury SUV, so there's not a ton of space for a third row. That being said, it's not the worst thing I've ever sat in. It's okay. I mean, as you can see, the thigh support is very lacking. There's not going to be much leg room unless you slide those second row seats up quite a bit, but it's not bad at all. So if you have children or whatnot that you want to occasionally throw here in the third row, I see no reason why you couldn't get the GLE with the optional third row instead of the full-blown GLS. Now, walking up to the tailgate of the GLE, we do have a hands-free Power One as standard equipment. So in order to open it, we do have the tow hitch installed on this model. You just kick to the right of it, and it does still even work quite well with the tow hitch install, which is sometimes a problem area for a lot of cars we review. Now, as far as the space figures themselves are going to be concerned, I actually don't have a space figure behind the third row. If I were estimating, I'd say it's going to be probably less than 10 cubic feet if you have both of the third row seats folded up. But I do have figures for the second row and maximum capacity. So we're looking at 33.3 cubic feet behind the second row seats. If you fold those seats down, you're looking at 74.9 cubic feet. That does place it right on par with its chief rival, the BMW X5. So certainly a lot of space. It's a good amount for the segment, and we do also have a very nicely finished cargo department, as you would expect out of a Mercedes. Really premium carpeting. If we fold this up, there is storage for your cargo cover as well. And then over here on the side, you do have buttons to fold electrically the second row seats from the cargo department. Now, for your passenger seat, you are going to have the same adjustments as the driver, which means you have 16-way power seats, certainly every way of adjustment you could ever want. We also have 3-person memory seats on the passenger side as well. Now, as far as in front of me, we do have a nicely finished glove box. It's leather wrapped even on the outside area, and it's going to be nicely felt lined inside. We have LED illumination. As you can see, our coupons fit in there perfectly fine. No issues whatsoever. And then up top, we have a premium element. It's going to be the 2-part sun visor setup. So we have this element. That's your traditional sun visor. You can't detach it. And then you have this other element so you can block out sun from the side as well as in the front, all in one. And in this main unit, we have a nice mirror, some LED illumination as well. Nice.
And as quick as that, you're above 60 miles per hour in the GLE 450. So this comes in a wide variety of engine choices, which I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Because of that, you're going to have a wide range of horsepower figures. I think the GLE 450, though, is probably the most popular variant in terms of sales. That's what we have, and that is kind of the second step up the ladder. So what is powering this is a 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder. This is paired with Mercedes EQ Boost, which is a mild hybrid system, and the total output is going to be 362 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. The 0 to 60 you just witnessed was about 5.5 seconds, according to Mercedes. It feels every bit as fast, maybe even a little faster behind the wheel.
Yeah, this powertrain is exceptional. You will just hear us talk about it so much in this test drive, but we've been behind the wheel of this 450 model and the GLS, the GLE. It is just so freaking good. Like, I mean, it is impeccable. One of the best powertrains money can buy. This would be the one that I buy in the GLE lineup.
Yeah, it's incredibly smooth. You'll see that throughout the video. I'm not going to go into that too much right now because we'll talk about it as we go through the video. But yeah, I think that's the reason why people go for the 450 is the extra power and the smoothness versus the 350. That's going to come with a turbocharged 4-cylinder. We haven't actually sampled that. I'm sure it's still pretty good, but it's definitely going to be a big step up, getting the mild hybrid, getting the inline 6-cylinder.
Yeah, the 350 model is rated at 255 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque.
As we kind of work our way through some traffic, let's go ahead and talk about the transmission. So this does have a 9-speed automatic transmission. It is imperceptibly smooth. Put your foot down. It'll give you quick response and get you into the right gear. But as far as just cruising around, which is what most people do in this type of model, it's very, very smooth and you just don't notice it at all. Now this is also going to come with standard 4MATIC all-wheel drive for every variant except for the 350.
Yeah.
That one does have a rear drive option on the base level. Yeah, this will surprise you with just how quick it is because, like I said, generally driving around smoothly, comfortably, you don't really notice how powerful it is. But when you put your foot down, it goes, oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Now let's talk a little bit about EQ Boost and the mild hybrid setup. If you were looking at my tachometer, you'll notice before I even come to a stop, the system allows it to go ahead and turn the engine off, which is really nice. Helps you not to notice the on-off switching of the engine. And, EQ Boost does help the power ever so slightly off the line. But the main thing is that advanced auto start-stop system. It just allows it, like I said, to shut down before you even come to a stop, and it is just so smooth. We've said it in a lot of Mercedes reviews, but this is the smoothest auto start-stop in the industry. A few are getting closer.
The Germans are getting close.
They're getting closer, but Mercedes still has the prize in our view.
For sure. Now, you might be curious as to if that advanced auto start-stop, I mean, you see, we've been sitting here for this red light for a long time. Does it really benefit your fuel economy? And I'm happy to say that it actually does. So, the 350 model is going to start out at 22 miles a gallon combined with rear drive. With all-wheel drive, it reduces down to 21 mpg. The really impressive thing is that the 450 model, so what we have today, actually gets better fuel economy than the 350 4MATIC model. You're sitting at 20, 25, 22. So that's 1 mpg better than the 350 model. So I guess that goes to show you just how much that system is working to give you that extra oomph, and also the auto start stop as well. Now, of course, premium fuel is required driving a Mercedes-Benz after all. So that's pretty much standard across the entire lineup. But guys, as we're finally getting out of the city and just starting to cruise along, I want to not delay this conversation any longer than need be, because the GLE average owner is going to really just be using it for cruising along and comfort. And this model does a fantastic job. The whole powertrain combination, the ride quality, the sound level, which we'll get an official reading here in just a little bit, it all just works in combination to give you a phenomenal ride experience. Is one of the best ride qualities that money can buy, regardless of your price point. So just kind of cruising along here. I will point out you do have standard adaptive dampers, so that certainly makes your ride quality better than some of its competitors. And you do also have an available full air suspension. The Tester today just has the adaptive dampers. We have sampled out the full air suspension in the GLS, the bigger brother model, and that does ride a little bit better. So if you need the maximum ride quality, get that full air suspension. I might option that on, but these adaptive dampers are certainly not bad at all.
It's already so comfortable.
Yeah.
Totally not necessary, but like Mason was saying, if you want, of course, the variable height as well, if you maybe want to go off-road or something, or just enhanced ride quality, you know, it is a pricey option, but it does give you some benefit for sure.
All right, let's get our sound level reading. .6 decibels is what we're sitting at reading-wise. So that's certainly a very good figure. That's about what it sounds like to me. I think that's pretty competitive with the segment in terms of the overall sound entering into the cabin, that's for sure.
And this is on a very windy day as well. Tapped into the sport mode, it's even more responsive, of course.
Still not uncomfortable in the ride quality, though.
No,
it still
definitely not.
has a nice GLE feel to it.
Right. And I should, of course, mention the steering as well. Very lightweight. When you put in the sport setting, it tightens up a little bit, but, you know, this is a comfort-oriented SUV, so.
And they offer AMG models if
That's
you're
right.
looking
Exactly.
a sport element. Now, let's go ahead and hop into our signature element, slam dunk and airball. I think today's easy slam dunk, you've heard us talk about it multiple times throughout the review, is just how smooth this vehicle is, especially in the powertrain department with this 450 model. Smooth, doesn't even begin to touch it. It's one of the best, smoothest rides, and powertrain, I mean, it's incredible. You get in this and it's like, okay, this is what a luxury car is supposed to be like. If it's comfort-oriented, it just nails it. So that's going to be our slam dunk.
And on the airball side of things, we're going to say that is the price tag. So I'll let Mason talk about what the price tag is specifically right now, but it's definitely a little pricier than even some of the German things like the X5.
Yeah, so you're going to be starting at $57,700 for the 350 rear drive model. The 450 is going to start at $66,450, and then the AMGs are, of course, pricier than that. But the starting price is not really the problem. You do have a lot of optional equipment. You know, we have a rap sheet of optional equipment here on this particular model. So all told, plus the $1,150 destination charge, we have a as-tested price of $84,770. And we are still missing some equipment. Like, there are several option packages that we could option on. I think we could get this 450 model to about nearly $90,000, which is certainly very expensive. But, you know, as they say, you have to pay to play, and this GLE is certainly one of the best luxury vehicles that money can buy.
But overall, Mason already said it. This GLE remains one of the best luxury SUVs money can buy.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us on our in-depth review of the 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLE 450. This certainly is an impressive luxury SUV, and we hope you enjoyed watching our review of it. And if you did, please pay us back by hitting that subscribe button down below. It truly helps us out. Also, follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.